All right, we're live. I'm not sure if our buddy Rico Bosco is here or not.
Yeah, there's a meeting at 3 o'clock.
He's probably like MSG or something, with my favorite basketball team. I'm not sure why his Wi-Fi is so bad.
You open?
Rico, clap if you can hear me.
Don't. That's mean. That's mean.
That's not
I
mean.
thought it was perfect because I would have made a complete ass out of myself. Megan, I am notoriously bad at clapping on beat. So the fact that Rico was equally just as bad just solidifies a lot of our relationship.
Listen, I wrote a blog. It's coming out. They're not going to talk about the 8 that me and Coach do it on beat. They're only talking about the misses. So what do you want me to say?
I mean, those misses were fucking whiffs, bro. Those were.
What do you mean? I was okay. The first
those
two
were
I'm just
some claps, Rico.
The first two, I'm just waiting to see what's going on. I was just like,
my 5-year-old can clap on beat. We gotta work on it.
I was too busy telling Marquise Noel that I got Calipari to apologize for him. So I waited. Once I'm standing there, I really only.
You had to get your credit. You had to get your credit, and then you had to try to catch the beat. I get it.
I did a little pump it. You just got to catch the beat.
I mean, the most appalling thing that I thought about that whole interaction was, besides the fact that it wasn't me that got to be there, was.
Well, listen, they only trust people close to the program. You're on the outside. You can view from up there. I'm in the I'm connected. I'm
the locker room.
You know what the problem is?
The locker room. My picture has been posted in the locker room since 2009. It says, "Do not follow, do not interact." Trust me, I know exactly what I am to the Kansas State University sports teams. I am a fucking liability.
You also have a vagina, so that's also a liability. Vagina and betting, those two things in the locker room, not ideal. Not good for the brain. Not good for ball. Not good for ball. Speaking of ball, we got Bosco in, who apparently. Will you be wearing the Alabama hard hat tomorrow? Or is
yes, everyone's okay. Everyone's like, oh, you got too many teams. Listen, I'm a power broker. They reached out. Also, the locker room videos are sweeping the nation, which again, Kelly would not know. She's not connected to the team. She's not connected. She's not in there. She's just doing a viewing party. She's not a power broker. It is what it is. But you got to get that experience. I went in, today. They needed a plug. They needed to connect. I put people in touch. That's what I do. I would do the same for Megan. I would do the same for anybody.
Look, it's okay.
Rick, what time are you going to the game tomorrow? So we're hosting a party from 3 to 6 right next to MSG. What time are you going to be there?
You see this phone? It's the most powerful phone on the East Coast.
I thought you were going to throw it at me.
Except you're not even going to the game. Did you?
I'm not. We're streaming. We're streaming.
Oh, okay. But you're going to go. No, you're not going to go to any games. Got it. Never mind.
Kelly's just letting you know that she's going to be there to cheer her team on in person while you have to sit there on a couch and catch flies.
That's how it goes. What do you want me to do? There's 2 games on. You got to watch both games.
Yes, and you think my ticket at MSG doesn't get me access to both games.
No, it doesn't get you to the locker room either. So
again,
like I said, liability. I know it.
Liability. Speaking on that, we got the first game tomorrow starting at 5:30, a.k.a. you have Tom Izzo in March, who, in my opinion, I wasn't expecting to see him here, not going to lie. And then you have this K-State team who has just some absolute dogs. They just have some guys on their team, if we're just going to be honest. And, we talked all season, Kelly, about how much we thought that the Big 12 was the conference that was, going to eat, that they were going to be on top. And here we are with a Big 12, Big 10 matchup. And I'm kind of looking to play on the Big 10. Should I go jump off the roof now or later?
Oh, Megan, I need to retweet this show from Money Shot, so give me 35 seconds. This is tough. So I just got done doing another show because some of us actually have to work for a living. We can't just gallivant around locker rooms. So I don't get to fly out till tomorrow morning to New York, but that's okay. I'm very, very happy with my career. That being said, K-State.
You want some cheese with that wine, Kelly? Jesus.
I'm just really disappointed in myself. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so here's 2 things, Megan. If you guys remember last Friday when I was looking at the K-State Kentucky matchup, I tweeted out, I said, listen, this is where K-State matches up really bad. They hit no threes in the first half. They only hit 4 out of 20 shots. They hit them when it mattered most. So that was the good news. The flip side here, I actually like this matchup for K-State, and that scares me. If you remember, I did not play K-State versus Kentucky. I said I don't like the rebounding matchup. Kentucky did not play defense. Well, you know who plays defense? Michigan State. The problem is they don't capitalize on K-State's weaknesses. One, they don't capitalize on turnovers on defense, and that's where K-State on offense has a lot of their problems. They don't get offensive boards. I don't know about you, but I watched every moment of that Kentucky game. K-State learned how to rebound in any game. It was that one. Toshiwe gave them a hard-hitting lesson and how to get those second chance points, those points in the paint, because they weren't hitting those three-point shots. And Sparty, we know what they do. They like to drown teams out. They like to smother teams. They like to keep them under 60. You know what? They're 10-0 if they keep a team from scoring 60 points. They're 11-12 when a team scores over 60. How many times has K-State scored under 60 points this year? Just one time. Just once. So I really love this matchup for the Wildcats. I just gave it out as my best bet on another show. They're one of the most experienced teams.
Didn't you take K-State as your best bet last? No, that was West Virginia. That was
Yes, Virginia. I had Bracket Busker. I had West Virginia. They were my best bet. And boy, if that K-State game starts off like that West Virginia game and then just rips my heart and soul out, I'm probably going to burn New York City to the ground. But I cannot wait. It's going to be an awesome time. Madison Square Garden never disappoints. So I'm very excited. And I will say this. This is my little asterisk as a fan. I'm very proud of this K-State team. They were picked to finish dead last in the Big 12. Ken Pom had them winning like one game, I think, in the Big 12, maybe two. It was just gross. I remember tweeting it out. They have superseded every single expectation. Desi Sills has really stepped up as that fifth man, almost that X factor, if you will. I think that's what he called himself. And I was a little nervous when he was diving for balls and hitting the hardwood as bad as he did in that Kentucky game. But those are the types of guys that I like to see. We know Keontae, we know Marquise are the stars, but to be able to be that third guy to really fill in, Cam Carter's been able to do it at time to time. Tomlin's been able to do it. Desan has been able to do it. So I look at this team and I think, okay, where is the ceiling? And I think the ceiling is where they want it to be. We've seen where the floor is, and those were like an ugly game against TCU here and there. The second time they played Texas, there was a couple just really bad games. If the shots aren't falling, they're not going to beat Michigan State, but I think the shots are going to be falling. I think a lot of those guys that are from New York City are just really honored to be back in MSG. So as a fan, I want to say that. And I promise not to throw a massive fit if they lose to Michigan State.
That's a lie. One.
I have to. Megan, this team should have never been in the Sweet 16. Like nobody thought they were going to do this. No one thought that they were going to be one of the 16 best teams in the nation. And maybe they're not as far as metrics go, but they are right now.
It's going to be a missed free throw. It's going to be something ugly if it was to happen. And you will throw a hissy fit guaranteed. Okay, Rico, as the K-State expert, I need you to play devil's advocate here. What do you think Tom Izzo has to do to get a win over your favorite team?
What I would do is something similar to what I've seen work against Jelly Walker and running a double at Noel. And
shout out Jelly on UAB tonight, by the way, money line.
And make him give up the ball. I've seen that work, like double in, make him give up the ball, and then try not to let him get it back. Now that's harder than it looks. Maybe run a big guard at him, you basically just got to get Noel to where he can't beat you, but he's so dynamic with the pass. I mean, he was playing like he was in Rucker the other day. So they're dialed in. I do think I'm worried a little bit that K-State is the public underdog and has started to get like a bandwagon here. But it's weird because the line moved against them, right? Kelly didn't go from 2 to 1.5.
So I get a lot of questions about splits, and I know I had to give an educational lesson on futures bets yesterday on Twitter because nobody understands. That's why the Barstool Sportsbook is 16-1 because they are heavily inundated with K-State future money. So they say, here, put up 16-1. Now nobody's going to bet it. They're going to go bet it elsewhere. Anyway, that being said, it's always interesting to look at the splits, Rico, and I don't have access to our splits because I don't want access to them. I guess I could, send a text or two and be like, hey, can you guys tell me? From every bookmaker I've talked to out in Las Vegas, it sounds pretty 50-50. So I don't know if they've been a public dog per se. I think also a lot of people are going to jump on that Izzo and March bandwagon, and rightfully so. He has had success in this tournament year in and year out with teams that should have never really been here. And frankly, this is one of those teams that shouldn't have been here.
He's doing more with less.
And I love that. He's like the Bill Snyder of basketball. I love that for them. I don't want to hate this Michigan State team. And I will tell you this, the last thing, Rico, my biggest concern is if Michigan State gets hot from 3, It could be a really interesting game down the stretch.
Right. So they shouldn't. A lot of people are saying that, and they shouldn't have been here preseason and all those predictions in November and all that stuff. They should have, based on the seeding, though. The 3 is supposed to get to the Sweet 16, so they're playing with house money now. Now, again, all that stuff of 2 guys coming back, a first-year assistant, Marquise Noel, having 1 offer, like Keontae Johnson being able to contribute when you didn't know what was going on with him. Like, there is a lot to that, but this is where they're supposed to be based on the seeding. So it's an interesting matchup. I think the whole Sweet 16 is loaded. I'm very interested in all of this.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the second game on tomorrow's docket, which is Arkansas at UConn. Rico, we kind of talked about this earlier on Pick Central. I really like Arkansas, and I kind of want to keep riding them with Musselman. He's a funny guy. He's a fun coach. But this UConn team looks so scary. And we hinted on Sonogo earlier, who I'm really worried about as far as this game is concerned. What are they going to do with him? Are they going to be able to work around him? I'm not too sure. I do like Arkansas plus the 4, but it feels wrong. It feels wrong. I feel like I'm on the wrong side.
I don't know if you're on the wrong side, Megan. This is a tough one, and I'm not going to get involved here. I'll be fully honest with you. I had a really great Saturday and a pretty good Sunday. My only loss in those 2 days, betting against this UConn team. The Big East has just put me in a fucking pretzel week in and week out. I cannot get this team right. St. Mary's down 1.5. I was like, all right, let's go, defense. Now, those second half adjustments by Dan Hurley just absolutely obliterated any chance of me catching that plus 4. I'll give a slight lean to the Huskies, but I won't be playing.
Rico, do you have?
I got no play on it. I really think Musselman's turned himself into a phenomenal coach. I think this West Regional, if you only let me watch 2 games from a viewing standpoint, I want to watch Hurley and Musselman go berserk. And then I really want to watch the final chapter in UCLA Gonzaga.
Am I the only one that thinks Hurley has such a punchable face? Like I feel like he just has a face I want to just fucking just bow.
Kind of like how I feel about Rico right now. Is that? Oh, okay. I've never known what that means.
I mean, are you guys?
I like Hurley. But
you don't think he has a punchable face? So you can like someone and think they look like
he's a firecracker. He calls it like it is. I like Hurley. That's how it is. I think UConn's size could really give Arkansas a problem if they can go to Sonogo, get guys to the foul line. We all know about Jordan Hawkins, but listen, Musselman's a great coach. It's not a play for me. You start to get to these things where it's just not a play. Also, the second round was fantastic to me. 5-2, Princeton outright upset, Tennessee outright upset, and lost on Texas against State Penn with the 4-point play, and Gonzaga on the crazy.
That Texas play, I just wanted to blow my fucking brain.
5-2, and none of them really went just easy stuff. So crazy, but I think this Sweet 16 is fantastic, and yeah, I mean this one's awesome. Plus, it's in Vegas. Like, let it be nuts. I lean UConn to win, but I think it comes right down to the edge. But I'm not playing it.
All right, so let's move on. FAU, Tennessee. FAU is going to put up and want to put up a ton of 3 points. 3-point shots. Obviously, you, me, and everyone else knows that this Tennessee team does what? They defend the 3-ball well. Not just to mention that, but everyone's talked about this Tennessee defense. Their last game, they could not miss a fucking shot. That team was lights out, and I'm terrified to go against them with this FAU team who is also playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. They're here. They're excited to be there. But this Tennessee team, bigger, more athletic, has the defense. -5.5 seems kind of like a lot, though, for a Sweet 16 matchup, but I think I still might fall for this trap. Kelly, what are your thoughts?
I laid 4 on Monday, Megan.
Nice. Hopefully.
Really sharp people around me sent it to me. I said, all right, I agree with you guys here. I'm not going to lie, Megan, I may buy back on this. FAU has they're Jeff's bracket buster, by the way. He may win a trip to Ireland with this team if they can upset Tennessee, which is just insanity. I would have never drafted this team.
Them and Princeton.
They're already in.
They're already done. They're all going to Ireland, every single one of them?
Yeah.
Fuck West Virginia. Okay. Anyway, I didn't realize multiple people got to go. I thought it was whoever's 9 through 16 seed went the farthest. Wow. Anyway, couple of stats for this round, not courtesy of me. I'll retweet them on Twitter though. Teams with 3 straight wins and are now an underdog since 2013, 14-2-1 against the spread. That applies to Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, Princeton, and Gonzaga. But in regards to this game, I'm looking at that going, okay, Tennessee, they definitely came out. They played a great second half. They shocked the world, right? Beat Duke, where I was on Tennessee. I was pretty proud of their second half victory there. But man, oh God. They also have had moments in time this year where I haven't been in that press with them. The Missouri game in the SEC conference, the home loss to Missouri again. Let's see, they also lost to Kentucky at home this year. This team has kind of been on this weird trajectory. And, you know, we talked about Tom Izzo in March, Rick Barnes in March, not the greatest bet. So I may actually see if this one hits 6, I may try to go for middle. Hopefully the game lands 5 or 4 and we side one side 6. We'll see.
All right, let's move on to tomorrow's matchup. Last one for tomorrow. Gonzaga, UCLA. I feel like it's not often you see the Zags catching points. So this one definitely catches my eye. I would say as of now, my play would be on the Zags, maybe even on the money line plus the 102. There's just I feel like they've flown under the radar too much this season. Not enough people have been talking about this team, and it's almost scary. I think they're going to come out and they're going to play tough, and they're going to end up getting this W over UCLA. And that's not I'm not downplaying UCLA at all, because as soon as I do, they're going to come and I'm not going to lie. I have a weird bias against UCLA ever since the whole sissy blue shirt thing happened. I know this is a different season. It's a different coach. It's basketball or it's not football, but I still have this like, I don't like it. So what do you guys make of this game? Are y'all playing it? Or are you going to stay away?
I'm worried that I like it too much and the public is falling in love with it. But yeah, I'm on Gonzaga. I really think they are flying under the radar. We get a chapter 3. It's unbelievable, you know, and there's a narrative. Oh, Gonzaga doesn't play anybody. Put that schedule up against UCLA. So UCLA was in a weak conference. They had 3 bids. WCC had 2. Now the bottom of the pack of the WCC is way lower than the bottom of the Pac-12, but it's still 2 piles of trash. Like, you can't really tell the difference. And Gonzaga's schedule for we don't play anybody. Beat Michigan State, lost to Texas, beat Kentucky, lost to Purdue, beat Xavier, lost to Baylor, beat Alabama. Gonzaga's tested. UCLA is hanging their hat on 2 big conference games, non-conference games, against Illinois and Baylor in November. They did beat Kentucky, but that's it. That's 3. Like, Arizona's not that good. We love that. Everybody loved Arizona. Is Arizona inflated? Is UCLA inflated?
Call Blackman and ask what he thinks of Arizona.
No, thanks. We have enough wars going on in the office, okay? We don't need
more. I want more wars.
I know you do. I actually sent one of the mean girls a message this morning, and I said, you know, I'm here for the pettiness. I'm just sitting at home. I got nothing to do except for work until I get to New York tomorrow. So give me some entertainment.
I love all of it.
It's crazy. So, Megan, you've got the number 1 overall offense, right? Versus the number 2 overall defense. I think this is going to be a absolute utter dogfight. Got to say that Drew Timme is the best player on the court. I give the slight nod to Mick Cronin, though, for the coaching advantage. But I will say this. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to watch this one as a fan. I have no desire to step in front of Gonzaga. And I have not been always correct on UCLA this year. But I would agree with Rico. Gonzaga has proven to themselves to, you know, they put out a non-conference schedule that most teams wouldn't play. And they ended up splitting 3-3. And that is more admirable than not. I mean, we see a lot of these teams in these non-Power 5 conferences get a lot of shit for their schedule. And look, Gonzaga, one of the most cohesive units in college basketball. That's something you like to see. The only problem is they don't hit their free throws. As we saw versus TCU, they did, but not well enough for me to want to back them here. And on the flip side, I don't know if I trust UCLA here.
All right, let's give Rico a second because I'm sure he wants to change before we talk about this next game. Do you want to throw on a different shirt?
You get asked to do a favor. You do a favor.
Where is your hard hat, Rico?
Downstairs. But I'm terrified of this game.
You've been talking about San Diego State and how they're going to be sneaky and how Alabama has to watch out, this and that. The line's 7.5. That's a fat line, Rico.
Yeah, that's just because of a 1 seed, I think. I mean, but listen, San Diego State is a top 5 defense. They hold opponents to 28.7% from 3. Fourth in the – I don't know how you could hold somebody lower, but San Diego State's basically like first in the country in terms of that. The thing that is going against San Diego State, they allow 40% attempts from 3. So Bama will be able to take a ton. Now, they might not shoot it well. They'll be contested. But Oates has talked about teams like Pitino gave him problems at Iona. Not only do they the toughest spot is not only when they hold you to a tight percentage, when they limit you. Like Bama's okay shooting 36 and making 8. It's when they can only shoot 15 that's going to be a problem. San Diego State allows a lot of threes. Bama can have their looks here, but I'm worried about the percentages. I'm worried about their big guys in the middle. They're obviously experienced, a lot of seniors, oldest team in the tournament. Brian Dutcher is an under-the-radar type of coach. I would think somebody should make a move on him in a bigger program, especially in the Pac-12. You know, he's been to a tournament every year except one. They're a good seed most of the time, mid-level. Like, I don't know. I'm worried about it. I just think we have a lot to lose, and everybody thinks we got a path to the Final Four, and that's where it can get hot.
Yeah, I'm staying away from this game. I think Alabama either blows them out or it's a tight game, and I don't want anything to do with it. What do you like?
It's going to be a tight game down to the wire. I'm going to be cheering for San Diego State money line because I have them as one of the last 2 teams in my Calcutta. I took the 7.5 when it popped up at the Barstool Sportsbook. I think it was Monday afternoon, might have been Tuesday morning. Days are getting a little fuzzy right now. I'm not going to lie. Look, Alabama, what do we know what they do? They like to play up tempo. They like to play fast. And when they are on, this team is on. Plus, they've been playing a lot of defense lately. And that's kind of one of those things. Now, on the other end, if it plays out to be this grind type of game, and I don't necessarily know if San Diego State wants to play that type of game, but they do play that type of game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what the public thinks it's going to be, Megan. I made this game 5, so it's 7.5. There's a ton of value. The only reason why it's not my best bet on my other show is because my buddy Ralph wanted it, and I could go, fine, I'll take K-State. Why not? It just makes it more fun that way anyway. But I do have some concerns where Alabama turns the ball over a lot, just like K-State, and they've had some free throw issues from time to time. How they lose Oklahoma, Tennessee, and A&M down the stretch, that is exactly how. Where is San Diego State going to be able to capitalize? Not really much in those areas. And when they get cold, they get really cold. And we see that from time to time, but they do have a really great 3-point defense. And that's what I'm expecting to step up here. Better defense plus the points, Megan. For Rico's sake, I hope they don't win outright. For my bankroll's sake, God, I hope they do.
All right, let's move on to one of the games that I'm more interested in. The U going up against Houston. We all know that guard play has been fucking key in this tournament. Miami's got some great guard play. I'm already going to let y'all know I'm on the 7. I like the money line as well. Why? Because I also have a future on Miami to go to the Final Four and also to win. Also have that with Xavier. So gets a little hairy in that area, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm on Miami plus the 7. I understand that Houston could potentially roll. I know that the narrative, essentially with Houston and Houston for the championship sounds great. Sounds just perfect. But it's March. That's not what happens. I like Miami. See you later, Houston. What do you like, Rico?
It's just interesting to me. Who's the lowest rated team on KenPom right now other than Princeton remaining in the 16?
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah.
At 32. It's weird. It's risk reward. Miami. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, based on efficiencies, and you would think they would move up. Like, how are they still behind Utah State, Kentucky, Auburn? Like, it is what it is. But and again, Miami's odds have not moved. They're still 50-1. So that tells me that a lot of people who are sharp don't love them. It's a risk reward team. They're a boom or bust. Those guards are unbelievable. Pack and Wong, they could carry you to a championship, but they play no defense. So they better hit their shots. They're fun to watch. I kind of hope Miami wins, just because it's an easier path, obviously, for Bama and Houston. In Houston, I think is a little too perfect. I guess Houston versus Texas would be fun to watch in an Elite 8 game with all the chips on the table. But yeah, Miami's boom or bust. So if you're there, when they're good, it's good. When they're bad, it's bad. So That's a tough team to gamble on. You know real quick which way this one's going to go.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to know in the
rooting for
first
Miami.
5 minutes. In the first 5
Yes,
minutes.
Yeah,
I think I would agree with that, Megan. I would agree. We're going to know what's going to happen, and maybe that's a better live betting opportunity. Honestly,
I'll live bet my way out of my hole if that's the case.
So Rico mentioned Isaiah Wong. I think he's absolutely the X factor for this Miami team. What happened in the Drake game when they were down? He couldn't hit a shot to save his life. And then the next game, what do? He comes out and he's shooting lights out. Chad, as I text you guys, back in the mix. He's been a nice contributor as well. I like this Miami team. My concern is, Megan, do you remember the Kansas-Miami game last year? I think you and I were both on Miami.
Probably.
Yeah. That's scary. I think they lost by 26. It was gross. All I know is I was like, well, that was a dead-on loser. But it was nice because I didn't have to sweat it. It was just like, well, like you said, first 5 minutes, it's over. Turn the channel. I'm going to be cheering for you, Megan. I'm not going to get involved here. But, yeah, I don't ever like one seeds winning it all. It's not fun. I want to see some chaos. I want to see fire. I want to see action. And so I'll be cheering for you.
Let's go. It's all about the U. Up next, Princeton, Creighton. Kelly, you sent me some interesting stats, and I read one up on Pick Central earlier today. Had to do with Princeton. I don't have it up right now, but I'm pretty sure them as a back-to-back outright winners, double-digit dogs, are 7-0 ATS in this tournament. Since I don't remember that because I'm not good at numbers. But with that being said, I kind of do want to back Princeton, but I'm absolutely terrified because I think that Creighton could roll this team. How much gas is there left in this Tigers tank? This one might be one where I sit back and live bet because I'm gonna need to figure out how much gas there is left in this Princeton tank. Because I mean, God, they didn't expect to pull off the upsets that they have either. So, I'm sitting here +10 looks pretty juicy. What are y'all's thoughts? Kelly, I'll start with you.
Oh, Megan, I'm trying to find the stat, and I think it was similar to the one I read. Underdogs that have covered at least 4 straight games since 2013, 32-13-1 against the spread. So that's good news for Princeton. Rico mentioned his concerns about my K-State Wildcats being a little square. The whole world loves Princeton here, and that is my concern.
I thought you were going to go the other way.
I've seen some splits from a lot of various outlets, and I was really, really surprised to see 70+% of the tickets on Princeton. And that does happen in March. It happened last year with St. Peter's. I want to say in the Sweet 16. And guess what? They still won and covered. Yeah. And then they were in the Elite 8 and they still covered.
No, they got smashed. They got
smashed in the Elite 8? I thought they got smashed in the Final Four.
No, they didn't make the St. Peter's. Didn't
You're
make
right. Sorry about that. Okay, they got smashed. But it was a round of 32. The people jumped on them. And then on the Sweet 16, they were the most public dog on the board. And I had them in my Calcutta. That's the only reason why I didn't bet against them. And they won again. So listen, I'm not counting out Princeton just yet, just because the whole world loves them. I just wonder about this team, right? The Ivy League does not play a tough schedule. And sometimes the cream rises to the top. You and I have talked about the Big East. It makes me want to beat my face against the wall. Like, this conference is so frustrating. Creighton did their job for me and beat Baylor. So I'm very happy with them. This is a lot of points.
A lot of points. Rico, what way are you going? You looking at Princeton?
I think not. I think if you have to pick, like, in certain things where if you're still alive and you're picking a team just to win, Creighton Friday night would probably be the best bet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just from like Survivor League, you mean?
I guess I'm worried now that they're becoming a public underdog with fleas, as Chris Felica has said a bunch of times. But I worry Princeton is going to give a consolidated effort here and keep this close and slow this down. But Creighton has too many horses. McDermott with a week preparation. He's a guy who's never been to the Elite Eight. He's barely been in the Sweet 16. Like, a lot of pressure on him. I think he's got to figure this out and get this done. Bama, looking ahead, like, that's a great matchup for Creighton. That's going to be a lot of athletes, a lot of scoring, also play really good defense. Creighton's got to win this one. And for that reason of Princeton being a public dog, and also you don't want to lay 10 in a Sweet 16 game, it's a no play. Creighton's going to win. I think Princeton's pesky enough to put it this way. I kind of think it's the same way. It's San Diego State and Bama. Princeton wins outright or it's a blowout.
All right, let's move on.
Real quick, Megan, I want to do one little thing. Luke is right in the comment section. Luke, shout out to you. He is correct. It was the second half because I was feeling really good about Miami, and my significant other had a futures bet on Kansas.
I do remember that now. Now that you say that, I remember exactly what
they
you're
were
talking
up,
about.
and I think we were texting each other like, let's go. And then it was just over. I mean, they got outscored almost by 30 in the second half. So thank you, Luke, for keeping me honest.
All right, last game on the board, and one that I know that me and Mr. Bosco are very excited about and also very nervous about because I'm fucking terrified of this Texas team. That's Xavier, Texas. You have Texas laying the 4. You have an interim coach who has been just lights out. I don't know. Maybe I could even coach this Texas team and they'd still be in the Sweet 16. I'm not sure. And if that's the case, it's going to be a long day for Xavier. However, y'all already know it. I'm going to be on Xavier plus the 4. I'm going to root for my futures. I like to bet on what I want to watch, what I want to root for. You would think, hey, Megan, maybe take Texas -4 for an emotional hedge. I will not do that. I will take Xavier. I will keep riding with this team. They've been my team all year long. I took them back in February. So Xavier, throwing up the X. Sean Miller, let's get it done, baby. Rico, Megan, I know you like the Xavier team too.
If you are going to hedge, you cannot hedge with -4. You will middle yourself in this game.
Oh, yeah,
if you hedge, you have to take Texas money. I agree with you. The 4 points is really, really tempting. Look, Texas has been through hell all year long. That K-State loss in back in, what was it, early January. I think it was the first or second conference game of the year. Hey, Rodney Terry filled in where he could. He's done with what he's got. Well, of course, he has one of the most experienced teams in college basketball, solid on both sides of the ball, but Xavier just keeps coming. Now, I know they kind of struggled against Kennesaw State, but boy, did they play a really solid second half against Pittsburgh. I like this team. Now, they got to knock down their free throws. They want to win this game. But if they start knocking down those threes, it could be a long day for the Longhorns.
Rico, give us some good advice to leave on.
Yeah, so I would have hired Jared Grasso if I was Texas, but it seems like Rodney Terry's got the job. A thing to look at is like what I call, what have you done for me lately? Okay. And Xavier is 64th for the year in defensive efficiency. Since the start of the tournament, Xavier's 29th on D and Texas is 31st. Xavier's playing better as the tournament goes, which I said.
Yeah, without Fremantle.
When they were 75th, well, they played better without Fremantle on defense. It makes no sense. But the metrics, you can line them up. That's how it is. So, which I said, everybody's like, Xavier doesn't play defense. Do I think Xavier's going to win the national title in that region? It's pretty hard to do. But I love a guy with three Elite Eights, and I do think guys have been breaking through. We're also, by the way, unless it's Izzo, guaranteed to have a new first-time champion.
That's really exciting.
Yes. There's only been 7 right now who was won it actively. So my battery's going to die too. So
we're about to get out of here. No worries.
It's all good. Xavier is playing better defensively through this tournament. I said it. Miller's going to get them better. This is another one that I love to watch. I lean Xavier because I do think it's a little too perfect to have Houston and Texas. And I think in an interim coach, as we talk about, might get a little tight on the backside for Rodney Terry, who's 7 games above 500 at UTEP in his whole life. And Sean Miller's got 3 Elite Eights. He knows what he's going to do. I could see him pull his pants down. And Xavier's unexpectedly in the Elite Eight.
I would love that. That would be great for me. Rico, before what time are you meeting Nate Oates to get your Alabama gear?
I always have Alabama gear.
Okay. He's got to fly to right after this. He's got to go. He's got to go to LaGuardia and get the flight to Vegas.
In New York City, you go to the power phone. You don't go to a girl who just floats in and out of the program. You go to the power brokers. They needed stuff. They needed connections. They needed places to eat.
They needed a guy to wear purple.
Power broker.
I was going to get Ish's barber. I was actively trying to find. My aunt called me and said, hey, Ish Masood, ask coach if he can leave. I was like, how do I get the barber to MSG? I was going to do that. Okay. But then I got thought like, NCAA violation, maybe not so much.
When you learn in insurance sales, you're obviously going to go watch people speak. You go to conferences. I'm going to be a college coach down the line. I had an experience to go see Coach Tang and what that locker room is.
You are far too.
And now I know if we
play college basketball coach.
I got all their secrets for Alabama.
I'm trying to clap all feet. I can't even do it. Can't even do it. I have so much rhythm. I'll share some with you.
From the South, Megan, you have far more rhythm than anybody from Staten Island.
2 claps.
2 claps for Cal. It's okay. Let's get out of here. Let's finish this thing off. Rico, I will say that color purple does look really nice on you. Kelly, purple. I think purple is a good color for everybody. I think purple is just a solid winning color. So we'll go ahead. We'll leave on that note. Make sure you have liked and subscribed to the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube page so you can come back, watch this show, Pick Central, and any other betting shows that are out there, which I don't think there are any. So it's just us and Pick Central. So you should be watching. And shout out to Kelly and Rico as they have to go up against Mr. March. Good luck, and we'll see you.
Megan, wait, really quick. We have one ad read.
Oh,
Underdog
yeah,
Insurance.
Go ahead.
Barstool Sportsbook. Place any pre-live cash wager on an underdog team money line, round of 16. That would be Thursday or Friday. If the bet loses, but only loses by 3 points or less, you get 50% back of your stake, up to $25 in the Barstool Sportsbook. Yes, bonus cash. Make sure you guys opt in at the Barstool Sportsbook. If you guys are in New York, I will be at a couple of different bars in New Jersey and New York. Maybe I'll even see the biggest K-State fan, Rico, before I go to MSG tomorrow.
I'm a power broker. You can't fault me. I have a powerful phone.
Listen, every time I come to New York, you run off and you hide in Staten Island. So I'll be there. Okay?
Whoa, running, hiding. God. All right, we're getting out of here. No more shots fired because we know Rico, he's an Alabama fan. Don't want any shots fired here. All right, I'm out.